High-end ANC headphones from Audio-Technica? Let's check them out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out these. These are the Audio-Technica ATH-ANC900BT. Now, Audio-Technica has their 500BT, but this is one up from that. This gives you better sound reproduction and better ANC. Let's start with the earpieces. So they feature 40mm drivers, which gives you 5 to 40,000 hertz reproduction. Pretty darn nice. Bluetooth 5.0 for that Bluetooth usage. And on Bluetooth, you can use aptX or AAC or SBC. So aptX is generally for Android, AAC is generally for iPhones and similar, and SBC is for everybody else. Now, if you use it in wired mode, you can use it with high-res audio, which gives you really great reproduction too. And of course, if you don't want to use Bluetooth or you're just running super low on battery, one of the things that comes in its hard carrying case is a cable that lets you actually use it as wired headphones. Pretty nice, right? So, gives you that. There's also a charging cable in here, and somewhere in here there's also an airplane adapter. Now, I'm not taking a lot of flights nowadays, but if you are, that might be something very helpful. And I will just say, it's not a horrible hard case. I'm not a big fan of these hard cases, but this one at least is relatively small. So it's actually something you can live with. Some of them are just monsters. So, all right, back to this. So this is the best quality active noise canceling of any quiet point unit from Audio-Technica. So it's their top of the line ANC. It does a pretty nice job. We'll come back to all of the actual functionality. So touch controls. The left earpiece, let me actually make sure, yeah, this is the left earpiece, is actually a touch panel. So the middle part gives you various button functionality, and then there's top and bottom. So you can increase volume by doing that, decrease volume, pause play, resume play. You can actually turn into what they call, hear through function, right? And so if you're listening and it's really loud, you can do that, and it'll switch to a mode that lets you hear more of the ambient noise around you. Why would you do that? Because someone's talking to you. So what it doesn't do is it doesn't automatically mute the music. So you're still going to hear whatever you're listening to, but now you can also hear the ambient noise if you have ANC enabled. So you do it once, it goes into hear through function. You do it a second time, ANC is turned off. You do it a third time, ANC is turned back on. Now, one of the things that's really slick is that there's an app you can get that you can just download for free. It's called the Audio-Technica Connect app, and it gives you control over things like what kind of ANC signature you want to use. As you can see here, there are 3 different choices depending on your environment. You can also switch codecs. If for some reason you don't want to listen with aptX or something, you can switch. And you can even disable voice prompts, though I don't know why you would do that. I like the little voice prompts on these things. So let's see, they have a built-in condenser mic. So yes, while you're doing this, you can also take phone calls. They are memory foam earpieces. There's, I think, also memory foam on the top of the band, and it's adjustable and has a big pivot, mostly because that makes it also easier to fold up to travel, right? So you can do something like this, and then you just fold it out when you're ready to actually listen to them. Now, battery life, 35 hours. That is pretty sweet. Downside is that it's a micro USB connection for charging. So Audio-Technica, you should have stepped up to USB-C. That's a more modern connection, because then I don't have to worry about which orientation. I really dislike micro USB, so I'm taking points off for that one. So app is really cool. That cable is a 4-foot cable with, like I said, the airline adapter, and the headphones themselves are really light. They're just over 9 ounces, so you really can forget you have them on. And the controls, let me give you a close-up. Here's all the different controls to give you the plug for using them in wired mode, power on off, and then the mystery unlabeled button lets you turn on and off ANC and various other functions. And you know, you stretch them out, put them on, maybe close them down just a little bit, and They are very comfortable. They just sit very lightly on your ears. Now, of course, that's a bit of a trade-off because the tighter they are, the more you isolate yourself from your acoustic environment. But that's what ANC is for, right? So you want to use the active noise canceling so you don't have to have these jammed on your head and you don't have to find them super uncomfortable after such a short period of time. So, you know, really there's lots that Audio-Technica has gotten right with these. So let's talk about the audio features and capabilities. All right, number one, using these for a phone call is a mediocre experience. So number one, it's a little disconcerting that when you're actually using phone mode, the ANC turns off. And so while you're waiting for that call to connect, you get this sort of echoey wind tunnel effect. It's not really that big a deal, but I don't know why they turn off ANC if someone's talking to you, right? So that's something that they didn't need to do, but it doesn't seem like there's any way to adjust that. In terms of latency, there's no latency issues. If you want to use these while you're watching a movie on your iPad or something, you will be happy that everything is perfectly in sync. That works really well. And overall, the sound's really fun. I really like the Audio-Technica sound signature. There's a sort of emphasized bass, but it's just a big, rich sound. And the music I've been listening to, I've been playing around with Tidal. So I've been using Tidal and listening to some real classic jazz. And Tidal gives you a huge bandwidth of information. And these headphones seem to be doing just dandy decoding it all. And it's just like I'm sitting in the studio listening to someone like Bill Frisell actually playing his jazz saxophone. I mean, it's just fantastic. It's such a nice sound signature. Big, big sound stage. The ANC works really well in the environments I've tried it in. I obviously have not been on an airplane. I have not been on a train heading into the city or anything. So those are particularly tough environments for ANC. But in terms of being at home and, you know, if you're just quiet for a second and listen, there's all sorts of low hums and rumbles in your home from refrigerators, maybe your heating system or your AC if you live in a hot environment. You know, all of those you just sort of tune out, but these will get rid of them. That's what ANC really does when you're working from home or something, is it gets rid of all that ambient noise that you otherwise just discount. So you can hear the bass. You can actually hear if there's a bass line going up and down on the very low frequencies, you'll hear those notes rather than have that just sort of get blended into the muddy background noise of your environment. Now, in a work environment, in a coffee shop, at, I don't know, a shared office space or something, these would be great. And that 35-hour battery is a rock star. It's really wonderful to have these where, you know, if you charge these fully on Monday morning, you're good to go for the entire week without ever having to think about charging these again. And you have the voice prompt, so it'll say battery low if your battery's low, or in the app, it will show you what percentage charge you have. I only have 60% charge because I've been listening to these for a chunk of time. They also have a really good range because that's Bluetooth 5.0, but I found that I could have my phone even 25 or 30 feet away and didn't have any hiccups or problems or dropouts or anything. Really solid connection, really pleasant actually. So I'm a big fan of these. The biggest limitation is that micro USB connector for charging, but honestly, you know, you can probably manage that every week or two and plug the thing in and get it to charge. Otherwise, really cool design. You will eventually get used to the touchpad on the edge of the earpiece, or you might never use it. You might just find that you control everything from the source device. That's okay too. It's still going to work really well. And if you jump in the app, it also gives you obviously control over things like ANC, which is great. So we need to talk about price. But before we get to the price, let me ask if you can subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate that. Just go ahead and click or tap on that little red box on the lower right, and kablooey, you are subscribed to my channel. How lovely. Thank you. All right. These are the Audio-Technica ATH-ANC900BT, bit of a mouthful, and they are $299. But right now, when I recorded this, they were on sale for $199. That's a pretty solid price for a solid ANC with such a nice sound signature. They really do sound really nice. So you definitely want to check these out at Amazon.com. And as for me, I'm going back to Tidal to listen to some master quality authenticated jazz. So that means I'll have to catch you in my next video.